We're about 2/3 of the way through the NBA season, which is more than enough time to judge how every player and team is panning out as we head into the part of the year where things start to heat up. Some players have exceeded all expectations, some players have disappointed immensely, and then there are players who were fighting for their professional lives, and I'll be honest, there are quite a few losing that battle. That's what we'll be focusing on in today's video, as we'll be discussing 4 struggling young NBA players that after a few seasons now have officially reached the point where it's time to abandon any hope of them living up to the hype. They may have shown glimpses of promise from time to time, but it's now unrealistic to expect much from their careers in the long run. The first young player that it's officially time to give up on is Bones Hyland, formerly of the Los Angeles Clippers and Denver Nuggets. When Hyland was drafted in the first round of the 2021 NBA draft, he came in as a pretty intriguing talent who almost immediately started turning heads with his electrifying and entertaining playstyle. He's a creative, crafty, highly skilled guard with quick change of pace skills, a tight handle, and an ability to take and make deep three-point shots comfortably. As a rookie, he averaged about 10 points per game in Denver, serving as the team's 6th man, providing a spark of offense off the bench, and after that, he amassed quite a strong fan base of believers in his talent, being able to develop and grow into potentially much more down the line. But unfortunately, from there, things have only gone downhill. As time has gone on, his glaring weaknesses have been uncovered, and teams are more savvy figuring out how to exploit him, specifically on the defensive end. Hyland is, to be blunt, a pretty horrendous defender, and him being a liability on that end has resulted in the Nuggets searching for other answers quickly after that rookie season. In Hyland's second year, the Nuggets were a whopping 15 points worse per 100 possessions with him on the court. They traded Hyland to the Clippers at the trade deadline that year, and on the Clippers, it was a lot of a similar story. Last season, Hyland continued to get taken advantage of on defense. The Clippers were 12 points worse with him out there, and he ended up getting benched because of it. His confidence has also wavered in this time because his shot-making efficiency has also been dipping quite a bit, down to just 38% from the field and 32% from 3, so it's gotten to a point where even his redeeming qualities have become a lot less redeeming. He was just included in the trade that brought Bogdan Bogdanovic to the Clippers, sending Hyland to the Hawks at this year's trade deadline, and the Hawks then immediately waived him, so he is now unemployed in search of a second chance, and whoever picks him up likely won't even be inclined to thrust him into that big of a role right away. So while he can definitely still provide a spark off of a bench down the line and salvage his career, he was once looked at as a potentially elite 6th man in the making, which is just no longer the case. The next young player it's officially time to give up on is Patrick Williams of the Chicago Bulls. Williams was the 4th overall selection in the 2020 NBA draft, taken in a class where Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball were selected right before him, so Bulls fans can't help but wonder what would have been if the ping pong balls were slightly more on their side that day. This is now Williams' 5th season, and as crazy as it sounds, he's been virtually the same exact player every single year, except in some of the most important categories, he has actually been regressing, which leads to him now being included on this list. Williams was selected so early because he was viewed as a Kawhi Leonard type of prospect who has good size and strength for a wing player. He had raw but intriguing shot creation skills that NBA teams thought they could develop and maximize down the line. He defends hard, and he's relatively efficient most of the time. Through 5 seasons though, Williams has averaged either 9 or 10 points per game every single season, and while most years he has been an efficient scorer knocking down 1 or 2 threes a night as well, this year he's trending in the wrong direction, and he's no longer at the point in his career where we can hold his hand and write these kind of struggles off. Williams had been the team's starting power forward for the whole first half of this season, but eventually the Bulls said enough was enough and they benched him, which may be a sign that they're admitting defeat on this pick. Williams is shooting a career-low 37% from the field and a career-low 35% from 3 this year, and all of this is happening in the first year of the 5-year, $90 million contract extension that the Bulls just gave him this offseason, which is becoming borderline disastrous. He easily has one of the worst contracts in the league right now, being paid like a high-end starter, when in reality, he's a fringe backup power forward trending in the wrong direction. The next young player it's officially time to give up on is Chris Duarte, formerly of the Pacers, Kings, and Bulls. Remember Chris Duarte? This is a guy who was a lottery pick in the 2021 NBA draft who came in as a rookie and looked like one of the most NBA-ready players in the whole class, performing well in a Pacers rotation as a two-way wing who shot the ball at a high level. He was one of the best rookies overall that year too, being named to the All-Rookie team in 2022, and that year he averaged about 13 points, making 37% of his threes, with quite a few games of 20-plus points here and there throughout the year. He was looking like a quality floor spacing guard in the making, but unfortunately, he peaked as a rookie, and it's been all downhill from there. Duarte lost his shooting touch in his second season in Indiana, making just 31% of his shots from deep, and because of it, he lost his starting job. That summer, he was then traded to the Sacramento Kings, where his shooting woes continued, while putting up just 4 points per game, seeing his opportunities for minutes erode. Then this past summer, he was once again traded, this time to the Chicago Bulls, as part of the DeMar DeRozan trade, but he was never even able to carve out a consistent role in the team's rotation this year, so when the Bulls got involved in a 3-team trade sending Zach LaVine away, Duarte ended up being a casualty of that deal, getting waived by the team to help the deal progress. Duarte has now gone from being a highly impressive rookie to completely irrelevant in the span of 3 years, and his career is on life support. And finally, the last young player we'll be discussing today that it's officially time to give up on is Ziaire Williams of the Brooklyn Nets. Williams has been a highly touted prospect in the public eye ever since high school, when he was a teammate of Bronny James at Sierra Canyon and was a 5-star McDonald's All-American. He's an incredibly impressive athlete that can jump out of the gym and has the size and physical tools to be a good defender too. Offensively though, he was as raw as it gets back in 2021 when he was a lottery pick, and now 4 years later, he still has yet to show much improvement in that regard whatsoever. Admittedly, he does have a good knack for finding space off the ball and cutting to the basket to create easy looks for himself, but he suffocates the floor on offense with his lack of a reliable shooting ability, and he has not made any improvements in that regard over his 4-year career. He may be averaging a career-high 9 points per game this season, but he's making less than 40% of his shots and just 32% of his threes, which by the way is also a career high for him, just to illustrate how bad the shooting woes have been. 32% is well below league average, and that's the best that he's ever shown. On a Brooklyn Nets team floating in the limbo zone of mediocrity, with a lot of injuries throughout their rotation, you would have liked to have seen Williams take a bigger step up when the opportunities have presented themselves, especially in the team's starting lineup playing big minutes most of the year, but with him unable to run with this opportunity, it leads me to believe that his ceiling officially needs to be lowered and that he might just be what he is right now. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about these players moving forward. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.